very faithful. It's good, you guys. I could easily say that these two episodes we're gonna talk about this week were weird, but to be fair, at least our demon boy pushed forward this plot and got rid of it. I mean, it only took him the whole entire rest of the episode to do so, but at least he did it nonetheless. Because I was getting worried, guys, that this was gonna be drawn out even further, which it kind of is, right? Like, not only is there somebody who can be blamed for what happened and be blamed for why this kid, was doing what he was doing, but yet we have no supposed proof to put him as the face of what happened. So now that we're kind of dabbling into that, and our main boy is completely exhausted from using everything, which, to be fair, I thought once he used all this magic this week, I was like, uh-oh, you might have just lost all of his power, right? Like, he might have lost everything by putting it all out there, but at the same time, I think it just puts him back in a position where he needs to fill the ring back up with energy because it just expelled it all, or energy, fill it back up with magic because last time I checked, the reason why it got so crazy and out of hand was because of it didn't have any magic to feed on. And then once the grandfather fed it, that was the beginning of it just being able to um, be maintained and stuff like that. So I'm looking very forward to what is going to happen still in this show. I mean, to be fair, this build up was not. It wasn't the best, not at all. Um, with him kind of just handling the situation with ease. Not only that, the situation actually would have never been handled if he didn't let our boy in, right? Like, if he just was smart enough to be like, he might have something going for him. He does seem weak and all this stuff. Sure, I guess that's where the letting the guard down is just a common mistake for him to continuously do in his life because who did he let his guard down with on this week? Yeah. And what happened? His barriers got shattered. So it was like foreshadowing 100% of just his backstory is the epitome of like you shouldn't have done that, and because he's done it, it's obvious where this could go at the end of the day because either the guy who trusted him to do all this is going to be angry and try to maybe finish him off or make him feel some type of way, or even weirder, he might just get, he might get sold out. Once he's sold out and people find him out for being the one that did this, imagine what they can do to him, you know? So that's kind of now where my mindset goes is like, what do they do with this person who, supposedly created all these barriers for their own purposes? And not only their own purposes, but they were um, interfering with an event, like a whole entire festival was going on, and you pull this off. Lucky to say that the fireworks and, Irma, our main boy, who grew some devilish looking wings. I'm guessing they were the grandfather's wings, or maybe this was his kind of opening to having wings so he can fit in a little bit more devilish. And now even the wings are going to be like a growth arc for him to probably like master and be able to fly, stuff like that. But if it is only because of this one situation that he forms the wings, it would make sense because with all the power from his grandfather being like shooting out of just this ring, it's weird to say that, he somehow absorbs some of the power as well, Because it didn't make sense for why would the power be going out externally instead of the way he's sending it, you know? So it went forward and back, which is weird to me. So I hope that's explained and elaborated on because our boy is absolutely passed out after this, right? Like he is kaput. He is sleeping like a baby. And the thing that kind of saves all of this, excuse me, the thing that kind of saved it and made me think more of these characters as actual people and not just like plots for the show, and that this height that our main guy was falling from could have actually been fatal while he was completely unconscious, right? Um, because we've seen shows where people fall from that height all the time and just get a bump on the head and, cry about it. And that's kind of where you get the non-serious approaches, in my opinion. Like, you're not being serious with the show in general if your characters can just fall from any height and be okay without any, like, ways of them breaking their falls and stuff. But it also went to my suspicion of him having control of those wings, or like those wings actually being his, because where do they go as soon as he uses the power, you know? So all of a sudden his wings are gone after he uses his enormous amount of power. He also went very thoroughly in the case of being like, yeah, this guy's a demon and I'm a human, and right now he's looking at me like a snack or something that he's happy to take apart. So this is what it feels like to be the weaker species, or at least like the one on the weaker side of the spectrum. And to just kind of finish this video off with his backstory of what he gave us for like up until 14 minutes into the show until we actually saw something different from him just explaining, was just the fact that he was not a kid that got much love because of his powers, because of how little magic I guess he had building up in him. So instead of, giving him a decent amount of attention in this clan that he's in of people that are just like very powerful magic demons, I guess, because he wasn't so powerful like them, it became a problem to the family because it's like dishonorable to not have power, right? We're the strongest family, and then we just had a child that isn't even supposedly strong at all. So they practically disown him, or at least send him to a place where they think that all the kids that go here wind up better than they were, not going there. So, uh, pretty much just trying to mold him into being able to use his powers more efficiently, seemingly. But of course, it works terribly wrong, and he has people bullying him there, just like how the family members were straight up looking down on him for not even being able to do certain stuff. So, that plus the girl who thought he was going to save her, like hairpin or whatever. But here's my thing. He's never shown to be able to catch. He never showed as a kid that he could put up the barrier and then move the barrier back, right? Like to bring the barrier then to himself or push it further away. That should have been something they should have elaborated on. Like, sure, he probably could have tapped into it because it's his power and it only manifests because he's the one to do it and has concentration. But if there was no way for him to bring it back and it was just going to float over the water, they would have still not got it. I mean, they could have waited until a parent got there or a teacher. But even in that place, it seems like that's still something they don't really care about. And my first initial idea was I thought he was going to jump into the water for it. But hearing that he turned around and looked at her face and she was in despair, and that's what really got him excited and full of happiness, was dark. And to think that he wanted to just see everybody's expressions like that was kind of lackluster to me. He's like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see everybody's faces so I get turned on. Oh, like it was kind of whack, his reasoning. But regardless of that, I did enjoy the fact that our main character seemingly is going to grow quite a bit from this show in general, I guess you can say. Like, not only does he know demons are being treated like the humans, like some of them are just not held at high standards, or not even high standards, just being treated fairly without, being judged and stuff for whatever reason. So it's a good eye opener for a human to know that demons suffer, some of the same things, same traumas that other kids everywhere do. So it was one of those, I think, moments for our character to kind of understand just where things are going. But with all that being said, have an amazing day, night, evening, my anime people. And I will be getting back to you with some new stuff soon. So stay tuned. Peace.